Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Out of Shape podcast. It's been a while, but we're back. You know, had some things in life happen, but you know, like Kanye said, life ain't ever easy. And I take all my advice from Kanye. So let's get into it. A lot has happened in the NCAA that we haven't talked about, but practically nothing has happened in the NBA. So we're gonna get right into it. Drew's just gone already off the bat.
Hold on. Shout out UK and the dumb Wi-Fi.
All right, so basically we're doing no intro today. Singing to You was our intro. Hopefully you enjoyed it. We're going to talk about the NBA for a brief second, and we're going to get right into NCAA because it's March Madness, and we missed out on a lot. So we apologize. We're going to cram it all into one episode to pick up where we left off. First bullet point I have down here is the Celtics are the hottest team in the NBA. Would any of you like to tell us why, when, how?
It's all about, I don't know. I think they've always had the pieces. Like, I honestly believe Jason Tatum can be a star player on a championship team or like be the main guy on a championship team. I mean, I think the problem is with them is just putting the pieces together. And I feel like they're finally starting to do that with like Jaylen Brown finding his place. He's developed well. Robert Williams has been good. Marcus Smart has found more of like a dish assist role. I don't know. I think they're just finally like playing together and playing like we all thought they were a few years ago when they got Kyrie in.
I think their biggest addition, or not addition, but their best role player, I guess you could say, is Grant Williams right now.
Let's go!
Former Tennessee legend.
Shout out to the rooftops.
You know, it's sad when people from Tennessee fans like to flip out over a role player getting attention.
Hey, at least he's playing, right? Your best player has paper skin and glass bones.
Karl Anthony Towns? I think he's still playing.
Anyway, you're right, Jerry. You want to elaborate on that? Sorry, I interrupted.
Yeah. Before you interrupted, Grant Williams is playing some of the best basketball of his career. His stats might not show it. I think he's only averaging like 8 a game. But it's the stuff that he does off the score sheet. You know, he'll take a charge, he'll flop a little, he'll get you some good block calls on the other end.
Hustle player.
Yeah, he's a big hustle player. I think Peyton Pritchard's another good one. He's a good role player. I think they traded for Derek White. That's a little under the radar trade, and he's been hooping recently. He's a true point guard. So I like the Celtics right now.
Peyton Pritchard and Grant Williams, two of my favorite college players. Nice to see him going at it. To what Drew said about Jason Tatum, I think Jason Tatum isn't as good if he doesn't have Jaylen Brown. So I think those two complement each other very well. I see them winning a championship together, not necessarily Jason Tatum being, of course, he's like the best player, but without Jaylen Brown, you don't have Jason Tatum. So the Celtics entered the All-Star break is it the 8 seed in the East? Was it 8? Anyone know? 8. Now
it was 8 or below.
Now they're competing for almost. They could get the first seed.
They're tied for the 4. They're tied for the 2nd seed with the Bucks and the Sixers right now.
It's crazy to see that.
They're all 2.5 games back
from first.
Some team in Miami.
Yeah, some team in Miami. It's crazy. The Celtics, they've had the pieces all along. It's just they've been.
I think the coaching has been outstanding.
Do you remember? Remember Tatum's rookie year, and even like before that, everyone was talking about how big they won that Nets trade that got them that traded Paul Pierce and all of them. Like the Celtics during those years had everyone was talking about how the unlimited potential, and they just never put it all together. And it finally seems like now Kyrie's gone, and even they lost, they don't have Kemba anymore. That was a big signing for them, and now they're finally playing to what we thought they could 3 years later.
Yeah, I would definitely say they probably have the best chemistry in the league out of any team. They're up there at least.
Both signings in Kemba and Kyrie both are ball-dominant players, so that just doesn't work well with Tatum and Brown, who also need the ball in their hands. They're not true point guards.
Yeah, and Marcus Smart's been that unselfish player as well. It's nice to have Marcus Smart and Grant Williams on the same team. Really know how to draw fouls. So we pretty much boiled that down. Celtics by far hardest team in the league. the Bulls are 0-15 against top 3 seeds of either conference when playing them. How overrated are the Bulls, and should we be worried come playoff time?
They're more than overrated. They're not good. They're down 20 against the Bucks right now, by the way.
I said they're on 81-60 right now.
So they'll be 0-16 against top 3.
And Chris Middleton's not even playing, so
Oh, they lose on Thursday too. They play the Pels.
Wow, that joke really died, huh? Okay, so here's the thing, though.
I
They're
know what's
0-16, right? How many losses do they have on the year?
they're about to have 30.
What?
So
They're about to be
Let's say
42 and
they
30.
lose tonight.
So against the top 6 teams, they're 0-16 or whatever. But against everyone else, they're 0-14. Or they've lost 14 games. So saying that, I mean, the first round is practically wraps for the Bulls. The Bulls will make it past the first round. Because they know how to beat
This is why
worse.
This is why, for all those people that say, like, oh, we need to trim the season and stuff like that, that's the argument of trimming down seasons, because, like, everyone was riding the Bulls so high when they started off, but now they're kind of, like, sinking lower, and everyone is kind of like, oh, now we know what kind of team they are. Like, it gives 82 games, and even in, like, baseball where they play 162, it gives them time that you can see who they really are as a team. And I think, like, you can always – so say, like, a team can start out freakishly cold, but it's going to even out if they have a good team. And then – but, like, with the Bulls, it was vice versa, where they started off really hot. Everybody jumped onto them. And now they're kind of cooled off and kind of where they are, where we thought they might be coming in. They've got some players. We didn't think they're going to be bad, but now kind of cooled off to and kind of settling back down to where we thought they might be coming into the year.
Jerry, you have anything?
They rely too heavily on DeMar DeRozan to score 35 every night.
Especially
If he doesn't
Zach
put up
LaVine.
35, if he doesn't put up 35, they're not going to win. And that's not a good formula.
Or the DeMar MVP supporters kind of gone away now? Do you think DeMar has any shot?
No.
No, I don't think he has any. I didn't think he had a shot to begin with.
I think if the Bulls would have,
If the Bulls had the 1 or 2 seed, he had a chance.
yeah,
But they fell all the way down to the 4 seed soon. So
I could see him being like top 5, but I don't think he would have ever jumped over Embiid or Jokic.
yeah, I don't see it happening at all. Speaking of ice cold start and hopefully can turn it around, are the Lakers back?
No.
LeBron goes to Cleveland.
No.
LeBron goes to Cleveland, puts on a show.
If you need a guy to give you 45 in order to win a basketball game, you're not back.
Yep, LeBron practically has to do it all, and he's 45.
I'm sure many teams.
Yeah,
I'm sure many teams in that play-in game are hoping they play the Lakers.
I
The
wouldn't.
Pels are, baby.
All you
I
do
would
is
not
triple
wanna play
team
the Lakers.
LeBron. Triple team LeBron. You think Russ is gonna knock down a 3?
Yes. Did y'all see the game winner or game tie against the Raptors?
Did you see the shot he had before that?
All right. If Russ didn't try to bank it, he's a great player.
But he tries to bank it too much.
He'll be in the lab. Trust me. Offseason, MVP Russ will be back.
He's shooting like 20% from 3 this year.
I'm pretty sure his shooting splits are better than Curry's.
It's because he dunks it and he misses half of them.
Yeah, he also has the worst dunk percentage in like league history. All right.
that was
The
a
Warriors.
stat.
Just so you know, my side, the Lakers are not back. They won 1 game, even though I love LeBron.
You're the
all
one that
right.
asked the question.
So we talked about DeMar MVP. Does Luka deserve to be in the MVP talk more than he is at the moment? I feel like Luka doesn't really get much credit for how good of a player he is.
I mean, obviously he should be in the talk, but the MVP race is between 3 guys, mainly 2. But
Who do you think the
I mean,
third
he's
one
not
is?
even Giannis. I mean,
I think,
he's putting up the
Giannis?
same.
I
Giannis
think
put
it's
up the
voter
same stats he
fatigue.
did last year. I mean, it's what happened with LeBron.
Voter
They don't want to
fatigue.
see this same guy win it every year.
Yeah, he's the best player in the league, and they don't want to give it to him.
But
I think Luka's really good, and he's so young.
Winning it as a 5 or 6 seed is just not going to cut it either.
How old is Luca? 22, something like
He's
that,
young.
right?
23.
He'll
Tatum's
probably
still 19.
he'll have so many. Yeah, Tatum still. Keep in mind the Celtics are red hot, and Tatum is only 19 years old.
I will say it's impressive that I don't think the Mavericks roster is very good. Like I don't think they're not 16 games over 500 good, in my opinion.
Yeah, if you were to break
and
down,
I think
if you
I think
compare the
Luca
Lakers,
is a huge. I do think that Luca. I don't think he should be the MVP favorite, but I definitely believe he should be like top 5.
he'll
in
end his
MVP
career with at
conversation.
least a couple, at least.
The
Yeah,
Mavericks have
I mean,
really good
easily.
guard play, though.
And
Yeah,
Spencer
Hardaway,
Dinwiddie,
Jalen Brunson, Dinwiddie, yeah.
his stock went up. Jalen Brunson's stock went way up.
Yeah, no, but you're talking that. I mean, you said Jalen Brunson and Spencer Dinwiddie. Think about all the other teams like in the playoff race that are 16 or at least like around the 16 games over 500. Who is their star players supporting cast?
that's
A
right.
whole lot better than what Luca is.
Yeah, so I mean, you give Luca credit. You got to give Luca credit then, all right?
I mean, Luca leads them in points, rebounds, and assists per game, and 27 points per game, 9 rebounds, and 8 assists. That's not MVP caliber numbers. I don't know what is.
I mean, Luca practically took. Didn't he take Kawhi and Paul George by himself to Game 6 last year?
Yeah, I mean they tried the Porzingis idea, and then they already shipped him off.
And they won the
Terrible.
trade. They won the trade.
They 100% won the trade.
I know Drew didn't think they won the trade.
I think Porzingis is a good fit with Luka just because he can shoot. You got a big that can shoot.
Yeah, that's the issue. That's the issue, though. He only wants to shoot. That man does not. He's 7'3" and refuses to touch the paint.
Yeah,
The problem with him is he can't stay away from injuries too.
Yeah, I feel like he probably has PTSD from the paint and just refuses to
He
go
can
in there.
He also can barely rebound.
Yeah, he's not a
You gotta
very
be
good. We already saw Spencer Dinwiddie can produce. I mean, he hit the game winner a couple of nights ago. Anyway, we wanted to spend not that much time on the NBA. So going into the last one, as of right now, who is your favorite to win the finals? We'll go around saying one team, and then we'll go right in NCAA. Drew, you can first.
Mine is the Suns. I think they're top to bottom. I think they fill all the categories of shooting, defense, young, mixed with veteran guys. I think top to bottom, I think they've got what it takes to win it.
Okay. Jerry.
I mean, I think it's the Suns as well. I think it's Suns or bust for them. Or, I mean, if you want to go East, I like the Celtics a lot.
Yep. Those are my two. Suns, if they don't win the finals, might as well consider the season done over. And the Celtics are red hot. All right, so let's go to the NCAA. We have missed so much. So much has happened. 2 rounds have happened, and we haven't talked about. So do you just want to dive in and look at the first round or what? How do you want to do this?
Yeah, we can do that.
Do you want to go over every matchup or just the key ones?
Key ones.
All right. So which one do we hit on first? Let's do the biggest. What do you want to do? Do you have an idea?
We can talk about the headliner with I think everybody and their grandmother after day 1 and early day 2 of the round 1.
Hold up.
Kentucky.
Hold up. I want to hear what our final fours were before we do this. What was everyone's final four?
I think. That's honestly a good question. I'm gonna look. I know. I had Kentucky coming out.
You had 2 teams got beat by St. Peter's.
I had
Murray State.
You had Murray State in your final four.
That was a sleeper. That was Drew's sleeper.
Yeah, I did.
Both got beat by St. Peter's.
I had Gonzaga left.
The first day, 2 of mine got eliminated.
I had Gonzaga, Kentucky, Illinois, and Auburn.
My last good team is Houston, probably.
I had
Houston.
I had Kentucky, Tennessee, Iowa, and Texas Tech. And I was really confident about my final four.
Oh, I think Texas Tech was one of mine too.
I was so confident. And Kentucky lost. And Iowa lost. Apparently, the hottest team in NCAA. Man, they're on fire. Iowa's on fire. No one can stop Iowa right now.
It's because they play in the Big Ten.
It's March, baby.
the SEC is completely just they gave up. I don't know what happened in this tournament. SEC should be embarrassed for their play.
especially Tennessee.
Yeah. All right. So for those of you who don't know, I'm a big Tennessee fan, and luckily, so what happened? I'll tell a story. This is a good story to tell. So a couple of our friends and I had a good idea that we go to March for spring break. We're going to watch March Madness for spring break, and we bought the tickets before bracketology or the bracket was announced because we just wanted to watch good games. So we bought them.
And who was the one that said he wanted to wait?
You
Yeah.
retard.
So I was like, all right, and we put good money
I
for
don't fit
tickets.
in the stupidity of this conversation.
We put good money in for tickets that we had no clue we were going to watch. So we were watching the draft. Me and Jerry we were talking, and we find out that my favorite team, Tennessee, we're watching in Indianapolis. They get selected for first and second round in Indianapolis. And right now, I was going crazy. And then we find out Kentucky is supposed to be playing in Indianapolis, and we got tickets for the Saturday game. We're like, man, we're going to watch Kentucky and Tennessee play together in the second round in Indianapolis, and we're going to have so much fun. And then
Yeah, what happened?
Coach Cal forgot how to coach, apparently. The top 5 best coach of all time has a lifetime contract. Doesn't have to coach 5 stars against guys who literally weren't ranked out of high school. And then we watched Rick Barnes get outcoached by a pro boxer.
You got scared, bro. Can't blame him.
I've gone to 2 Tennessee games in March Madness, and both of them they've completely lost. And I'm embarrassed. I don't want to pick Tennessee to win any more games in March Madness because I don't know if Rick Barnes has the balls to actually coach in March. Anyway, I was upset. I spent good money on tickets, and we got very lucky, and it didn't even pay out.
We saw 2 good games though. We saw Michigan beat your team.
I watched a good game, and then I was too sad to even think about the next game. Anyway, we can talk about the game.
We talk about how Tennessee might have played the worst NCAA team of any of. I don't think I've ever seen a worse NCAA basketball team to make the March Madness tournament until I watched Longwood play.
Okay, we're not talking about Longwood. Longwood got their balls.
Longwood was horrible.
Tennessee handled Longwood. Don't worry about that. Okay. Anyway.
They
Longwood was
should have been
ranked.
the 16th seed.
Longwood was ranked above St. Peter's. So
Yeah, I don't know how.
the biggest upset, of course, is Kentucky losing to St. Peter's. I had Kentucky in my championship. I imagine you guys did too. I know Drew had them winning. What happened?
This is the problem. Severe Wheeler is getting treated like he's a smaller Ben Simmons. And so now everyone just cheats down in the post, and Oscar got double teamed, and they couldn't kick it back out to Severe because everybody knows, Lord knows where the ball is going when Severe has the ball in his hand. And Kellen Grady must have swapped bodies with Ben Simmons. Shout out Ben Simmons. I don't know why I'm ripping on him so much. We're not talking about him. But Kellen Grady can shoot a 3 to you stand next to the ocean. He couldn't put it in there. But sucks to him for him on his way out of college basketball, but goodness sakes, that man went from ice. He was ice cold for the rest of the season, starting like pretty much right before the SEC tournament.
Jerry, Kentucky fan.
The problem is they had a bunch of injuries. I mean, Ty didn't look the same the rest of the season. Before his injury, he was averaging about 15 a game. After about 10, shooting about 20% from the field the past couple games. They relied too heavily on Oscar. They don't have a 4. Not a great team. Guard play was terrible. You could say severe, but he shot 50% against St. Peter's. He played decent. I think it was more Ty and Kellen, the other 2 guards. If you can't they couldn't make shots.
Yeah.
Relied too much on Oscar. Couldn't defend. Got backdoored every single play. Just a frustrating game to watch.
Yeah, mine after watching that, my 2 questions were, why didn't Cal just rely on his bench a whole lot more? Because Kentucky's a program where you have 5 stars sitting the bench. So if you just pick one of those guys blindly and throw them in there, they're the best. They would start on St. Peter's team and probably average 30. You don't have to. You can just throw guys in there and just get guys rest because by the end of the game, they were so tired they couldn't even make free throws. And that's really what hurt them in overtime. And then the other
went for
thing,
6.
they played with no pride. There was no pride to be had when they played. They just came there, expected St. Peter's to be a terrible team, even though they're Division I athletes. And they let them, like Drew said, they were getting backdoored. They were getting straight line drives up to guys who they know for a fact. No St. Peter's guy might not even crack the rotation for UK.
He will now. He tries to transfer.
I would have liked to see Toppin play over Keon a lot more. Toppin was one of those high energy guys that just brought the team.
I think
levels
they
up.
just took him too lightly.
Yeah, way too lightly. I think the egos on the team are so
think-
high.
Yeah, I think Cal's ego got to him, and he thought it was going to be a walk in the park, and they were going to win by 40,
And it should have been.
and they should have been. But I mean, I personally believe that they didn't take it seriously enough.
Yep. All right, we pretty much exhausted Kentucky's embarrassing loss. Let's go through the tournament and see if there's any other crazy upsets. Of course, Richmond beating Iowa was a huge one. Of course, because we all thought that Iowa was the hottest team in the nation.
This is not. I mean, it's 11-6. Iowa State, LSU. I put Iowa State in my bracket just for the sole reason that LSU. People don't realize that if you never played basketball or really any sport before, like how big a head coach and like continued like they lost Will Wade right before like the most important part of their entire season. And they got a change of leadership right in the heart of their season when all season they've been doing by what Will Wade said. That was a upset that I had picked just because I just it's so tough to play when you don't have quote unquote, when your head coach gets fired right before the tournament.
That's what I thought too. That's why I picked Iowa State as well. I know Jerry didn't agree with me.
I'd like to say that I picked North Carolina over Baylor. That was my big upset.
I did as well.
Yep.
Where's that?
Baylor's frauds, so
I got North Carolina right, but I picked Baylor to win, unfortunately.
I'm hoping
North Carolina,
Houston,
they're playing the best. They're playing the best at the right time.
For sure. Except this last 10 minutes were a little rough.
Yeah, that's terrible.
But luckily, you never see a team blow a 25-point lead and then win in overtime.
Yeah,
I know.
I did on Saturday.
All right. I know we were watching the game up on the way to Indianapolis, and Scott Drew. Was it Drew Scott or Scott Drew? I always get confused. Which one is it?
Scott Drew.
All right. Scott Drew was clapping. He was going crazy at the end of regulation because he thought they were going to win because they had all the momentum in the world, and somehow North Carolina was able to overcome that and win in overtime, especially when Larry Beard was out.
Who?
Larry Beard.
You talking about their shooter?
Yes. I saw that on Twitter and I liked it.
Yeah, he single-handedly beat Duke by himself.
You guys didn't like that? That's
He
unfortunate.
does not miss. I thought the biggest upset though is Miami over Auburn
That's the biggest upset in the whole tournament.
in the second round.
I mean, Miami's a good team.
All right, so we're moving on to the second round. Okay. Yeah, because really Kentucky was the only major upset in the first round. If you look at it.
I honestly was kind of let down, especially Friday's games. I was kind of let down.
Kentucky and Iowa. I would definitely argue Iowa's a big, even though that 5-12 is always 50-50 no matter what.
Yeah.
Yeah, Miami. But to be fair, all year I thought Auburn was a fraud. The whole year.
I thought they were a fraud.
Let's all clap for ourselves because we all predicted this. We knew their first weekend.
We all knew Auburn was frauds.
Hey,
bunch of
shout out
frauds.
North Texas, though, for
Bruce Pearl is a
Wait.
fraud.
When your guards don't want to pass to your best player, you're not going to win many games.
Yeah, they
So
have
that
Katie
that was
Johnson.
their downfall.
Katie Johnson's
Yeah.
a fraud. Wendell's a fraud.
Just give your ball to Jabari Smith and Walker Kessler, and you probably won't lose. But
Yeah,
Bruce
if they
Pearl's
had
an
pass
idiot for
first
that.
guards, Auburn's the best team in the nation. But they have guys who think they're God at point guard
Yep.
when they suck. I hate Katie Johnson. I used to like him. Let's just scroll through.
Michigan over Tennessee.
Of course, brutal. But watching that game, even though I said I was a big like, why isn't Texas A&M in here? Michigan should not be in the tournament. They looked like they belonged in the tournament for sure.
They were put in for one reason, and that was potential, not because of their record. If they were put in for their record, they wouldn't have been in. They were put in because the committee knew they could do some damage. I mean, you look at their roster, they're stacked. Devontae Jones, Eli Brooks, Hunter Dickinson. It's a really good roster. Yeah, easily probably one of the best big men in the country.
Yep.
Hunter Dickinson.
Juwan just outcoached Rick Barnes too. Juwan knew that Tennessee's bigs were not mobile enough to be able to get around, but all they did was set a screen at the top of the key, and then Dickinson would either roll or he'd fade. And the bigs weren't fast enough to catch up because Rick Barnes likes to hedge all of his screens. So the big man would come up, the guard would catch up, and the big man would have to go right back and run back to get on Hunter Dickinson. And he knew that the bigs weren't fast enough to go and catch him. So Hunter Dickinson had himself a field day with Tennessee. Rick Barnes got outcoached. It was sad to see.
It also
Especially
doesn't help when
Kennedy
Hunter. It also doesn't help when Hunter Dickinson knocks down 4 threes.
Yeah, because they were way too slow. I knew whenever Rick Barnes would make an adjustment on hedging ball screens that the game was over.
No, y'all just got sauce with that big man for Michigan. That big white dude. Dude's
Dickinson.
good.
He's tough.
Yeah, Dickinson. Yeah, he's good.
That's what we were talking about, Bot Boy.
It was sad.
It was
very sad. It was very sad to see Kennedy Chandler after the game.
Yeah, he was hugging Juwan Howard.
Yeah, no. Should have
It's a
punched him.
redemption story.
How does it feel that your coach got so scared he decided to take the L in March Madness because he was scared of the other coach getting mad at him?
When the other coach has a history of fighting the other team's coach, I would be scared too.
I think
Man,
we
Rick
can
Barnes,
also
he really
say-
shies away from the competition.
I think another big fraud is Wisconsin.
They are frauds.
Is
I always
that
thought they were
all you
frauds.
said? Another fraud is Wisconsin.
You guys can add on. Their offense looked pitiful. I think I hate Johnny Davis. Most overrated player in college basketball.
I thought you used to
Most
love
basic name in college basketball.
I did like him, but then I saw him shoot 4 for 30 against Iowa State.
him. Yeah, Jerry the whole time was like, Iowa State got beat by 30 in the Big 12. There's no shot. They're not going to beat any team.
You look at their matchups though. I mean, LSU not a really high scoring team, and Wisconsin not a high scoring team either. Iowa State's win in Milwaukee, Wisconsin is one of the crazier upsets I think I've seen in a while. I mean that place was
It's a
nothing
home
but
game.
nothing but Wisconsin red.
Yeah, it's a home game for them.
Yeah, so that's a pretty embarrassing loss for Wisconsin.
Besides that, though, I mean, Tennessee lost. Of course, we talk about St. Peter's beating Murray State. Murray State is not a bad team. They were
clamped them
undefeated
up.
in the OVC, and they only lost
Their
2 other
coaches got
games.
hired. Their coaches at the OSU.
Yeah, their coaches are hired at LSU, Power 5. Murray State is not a fraud. I like using that word today because we've saw a lot during March Madness. St. Peter's exposed Murray State too.
St. Peter's was one of the most well-coached teams I've seen.
That
in
guy
person.
is either going to have to get paid a bag to stay or he's going to take a bag somewhere else because he has proved that he can coach.
He's going to get a bag somewhere.
He
He's
can
a good
coach for sure. And they played a high school court.
Yeah.
I mean, there's these guys.
They also have the best player in the country in
I
Doug.
wonder if he can. I wonder if him and GRC's coach can team up and recruit. Oh, sorry, this is college.
All right. Yeah. All right. We're not going to throw high school kids under the bus in this podcast.
I'm not throwing high school kids. I'm throwing high school coaches.
Eddard is by far the most likable guy in March Madness right now.
He hit some daggers against Kentucky and hit some daggers
No, he has
against
the
Murray
most
State.
punchable face in college.
The dude has a
basketball.
pedo stash and is cooking your favorite team.
You're gonna hate
On a
him.
nightly
He's gonna come
basis.
to your town. You're gonna hate him because he's gonna come to your town and beat your team.
Yeah, Eddard, man, he should run for governor of Kentucky or mayor of Kentucky because he owns this place.
Mayor of
Yeah.
Kentucky.
All right, I got my words so confused, okay?
He owns Kentucky.
Yeah,
If
St.
they
Peter's-
somehow beat Purdue, I don't know what the world's gonna do.
well, I think it's games like FGCU where we're like, wow, 15 seeds can play.
No teams made it past the Sweet 16 as a 15 seed. So
Yeah,
and they have a
Purdue's
tough test against Purdue.
No
Two
walk in the
really
park.
tall dudes.
I don't think Purdue's
Yeah.
coach is going to take them for granted like Cal did.
Well, if you watch Murray State before the game, they were just trying to do 360 windmills and missed every dunk.
Yeah, they literally missed 10 dunks in a row.
They didn't take him serious.
Besides that, though, I mean, Gonzaga almost got upset by Memphis. I thought that Memphis was going to win.
Chet Holmgren got bullied by Jalen
Yeah,
Duran.
that man, Chet Holmgren. If you think Chet Holmgren is a top 3 pick, you're on crack cocaine.
He's the next Kristaps.
I think I would probably pick him mid-second round. I'd be like, oh, we have a second round pick. We should probably get Chet now. He's like Bull, but worse, without a bag.
Chet Holmgren probably go his NBA career averaging 10 and 3 rebounds.
I'm thinking 5 and
2 assists.
5 and 2.
He can shoot. He can create his own shot, but he's going to get bullied down low.
Yeah, we've seen him
He's
get
gonna
bullied.
get shoved around down there.
I wish Kentucky would have played Gonzaga. That would have been such a funny game to watch.
Imagine when he gets to the NBA and him having to go Joel Embiid, Nikola Jokic, and Karl-Anthony Towns.
Yeah, and he's literally like 7'2", 180.
After every one of those games, whatever center plays against him is going to be an MVP candidate.
Yeah, about to drop 50, 20, and 10.
Yeah, they're going to get unlimited rebounds too.
I would not. If I'm an NBA team, I have a top 3 pick. I would either trade away or never pick Chet Holmgren in my life.
Yep.
There's two in this class. There's Jamari Smith and Paulo Banchero, and then people that put Chet Holmgren in the same class don't know basketball.
Yep, 100%.
All right. Anyway,
It's kind of a weak draft class.
yeah. So we pretty much gone everything. I mean, Arkansas can definitely get upset. Or they play Gonzaga if they don't get upset. They'll probably lose to Gonzaga. Texas Tech, Duke, Michigan State was a good game. Michigan State pretty much gave up at the end. I don't. If Coach K
Duke.
wins the championship, the NCAA is rigged.
I was just going to say
Duke-
that. You cannot convince me otherwise.
Duke made championship plays at the end of that game though. They did not. They finished the game. I'm pretty sure 7 for 7 after they went down 5. So they have a really loaded squad. They're hitting their stride right now. Banchero's unbelievable.
Very good player.
He's meant to be an NBA player.
Yeah, definitely.
Wendell Moore Jr. is really good too.
I've always
Yeah,
liked
he's a
him.
player too.
He's a
You know who I really like?
shifty point guard.
Keels.
No, he's a fat shooting guard.
Duke's. Me and Jerry point out many times watching Duke, they have zero defense.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting against Arkansas, who is really good at making their own shots. And Duke, you can tell Duke has struggled against that when they play North Carolina, even Michigan State. So, I said Arkansas. Texas Tech is what I meant. Texas Tech is a really good defensive team. I mean, they're going to hold you to 60 or under, and they play a slow pace. So it's going to be a really interesting game to see whose game is going to be played that game.
All right. So as we've already gone into pretty much looking in the second round, I want us to give our power rankings. Now I asked the guys to make a list of the top 16, or not top 16, ranking all 16 teams, pretty much power rankings, because the idea of it is if the teams were to play, what team's the best? So I don't know if I worded that right. Anyway, we'll start with Drew. Drew, who do you think your best team is? And then we'll just go around in a circle. And if they take one of your teams, just suck it up and learn how to think on the spot.
All right, my number one team.
Can you hear the train?
because I think
Can you hear the train?
things that go on in Wilmore. Hey, congratulations to Aaron. Let's give it up for Aaron for getting out of Will Vegas.
Let's go! I can't wait to get out of here.
All right. Number one team. I think they're evenly matched with other teams left, but I think that they are playing for a more driven thing, and that is Duke. I think those players are determined. Yeah. I think these players are honestly, I think with the help of the NCAA being a little bit rigged, they're going to get more calls because of Coach K. I think they have the talent with Paulo Banchero, and they have a nice supporting cast around him. And I think that after losing at home in Coach K's final game at Cameron Indoor and then losing in the conference tournament, I think that they're bound to make at least the Final Four.
So-
all right, I'll give number 2.
No. I want to hear what your number 1 team was because I know for a fact Duke wasn't even in my top 3.
My number 1,
Yeah,
Gonzaga.
mine is
Gonzaga.
Arizona. Mine is Arizona for the record.
I like Arizona.
All
Actually,
right,
my
so-
number 1 was St. Peter's. Sorry.
They did
Mine
beat
too.
the best team in the country.
Murray
Well,
State.
the worst team. The worst team in the country.
All right. So Jerry, I guess
And
your
even
second pick is your second pick now going to be?
Arizona, yeah.
It's not going to be Gonzaga,
No, my first is Gonzaga, and then my second is Arizona.
but
Oh, but Drew did Duke. Okay, so yeah,
yeah.
2 is Gonzaga.
Okay. So now we have Duke, Gonzaga. I'll do Arizona, of course. Drew, you're up.
Yeah, I mean, I went 1, 2, 3, like you all said. My number 4 is Purdue. I think with a mixture of Jaden Ivey and the big dude, whatever, Edie. That man is a force in the middle, and I would love to see somebody on St. Peter's try and guard that man in the post.
I'm gonna write this down just so we can go over it at the end.
I think he is going to be a force down low, and he's going to be impossible to stop for someone like St. Peter's. So I put Purdue at 4, and I mean, Purdue opened up with Kentucky going down, Baylor going down. And Purdue, it's Purdue's region to lose now.
Yep.
Mhm.
Jerry, your fifth.
My 5th, and soon to beat Drew's number 1 is Texas Tech.
Yep.
I love their defense. They have Oral Roberts, player last year, Kevin O'Banner. He's a solid player. They have a good guard play. I really like Texas Tech. I'd love to see them beat Duke because I don't want to see Coach K win in his final year.
Yeah, let's put a disclaimer. I really hope Duke gets beat by 50 and Coach K tries walking off the court, but I just don't see it happening.
I hope he makes the national championship and he plays against like a Houston team and everybody
No,
thinks
dude.
he's going to win.
If Coach K
And
makes
then
it
he
to the
loses by
championship,
50.
mark my words, he's winning the game, no matter what.
If Coach K makes the Final Four or the championship, I will never turn on ESPN for at least 6 months.
I don't think ESPN's the issue. It's probably NCAA. Should probably pick up
Probably
with them.
Disable
No,
Instagram.
ESPN literally made a whole day based out of Coach K's final game at Craman Indoor. When he was last game coaching,
And he lost, by the way.
and he lost.
And he still had to go out there and talk to the crowd after he lost.
Yeah, he deserved it. So no, Jerry, Texas Tech was my pick. So of course we'll do it. I got Nova as my 6th. Very fundamentally sound, and Jay Wright is the best coach in college basketball and will be for years to come because he's very good at
Yes.
coaching the game of basketball that we love and talk about all the time.
If they win the national championship, I will not be surprised in
Well,
the slightest.
To be honest, any of these 6 could. At this point,
Those top 6 are my favorites to win, probably.
yep.
I really like Villanova. Watching them against Ohio State, their defense is very good. And every time they come down the floor, you're like, they're going to score. That's how good
Yeah.
their offense is.
Jay Wright, I mean, he could coach. He could get a bunch of high school guys in. Probably turn them into
Yeah, right. He can.
March
He's a
Madness
good
team.
coach.
He got his
Drew,
guards posting up.
that's classic basketball. That's good basketball right there. Drew, you're 7th in the power rankings out of 16.
Houston. I think they are a very well put together team, and I think I love their coach. I think he is this is what their 4th, 5th straight appearance in the Sweet 16, 3rd straight
3.
appearance.
3.
Yeah. But even 3 times, ask Coach Cal how it is to make the Sweet 16 3 years in a row.
4
I'll
of
tell
the
you
last
how hard
5.
it is.
Ask Coach Cal what it's like to win a tournament.
Yeah. But I think Houston is a really good fundamental, just good basketball team. And I think their coach, what is it, Kelvin Sampson?
Yeah, Kelvin.
I think he is a very good, underrated coach in college basketball.
Top 4.
Yeah, I agree.
One thing I like to add about that Houston team is 2 of their top 4 scorers got injured in December and have not returned, and they're the 5 seed in the Sweet 16. So if that doesn't tell you about anything about their culture, I don't know what does. So.
After just knocking off one of the Players of the Year candidates and Kofi Coburn.
They handled them too.
Yeah.
Handled
What-
them.
What number's next? 7 or 8?
8.
Since no one said them, I'll go ahead and say Kansas. I think they have the easiest ride to the Final Four out of all the teams. So I think
Yeah.
they're pretty much a lock for the
But also
Final
a
Four.
1 seed. We put a 1 seed at 8. That tells you how basketball minded we are, honestly. You know what? My 9th. This is kind of, I guess you could say, surprising. I'm putting North Carolina at 9.
Yeah, I think you could put North Carolina, UCLA right there. I think they're 9 and 10.
North Carolina is the hottest team, and every single time we say that, we jinx the team. So they're honestly the coldest team right now.
They
North
are
Carolina
not
is
good.
super cold.
Please,
They have
please make me
no
look smarter.
coaching.
North Carolina is so cold. They have no playmakers. They have no one that can step up when the time needs. Their
Their coaching is
Undisciplined.
horrendous.
their coaching sucks. They're gonna get blown out. North Carolina at 9. Drew, give us 10.
All right. 10 is my my team for the rest of the tournament. UCLA Bruins.
Yeah.
I think they the X factor, or really a big deciding factor for them. I shouldn't say X factor is Jaquez. He sprained his ankle, and so his status is kind of up in the air for this coming weekend's game against North Carolina. I did see today that they're saying that he does have a good chance, a better chance to play than not playing. So if they have him healthy, you know, they're going up against a red hot North Carolina team. But I like UCLA. I think they have better players than North Carolina overall, even though UNC is hot. So
Also, like to point out when we gave our sleeper teams, Drew's team is the only one that is still alive. Jerry's team, surprisingly enough, didn't even make the tournament and lost in NIT, and my team just lost.
Also didn't pick a top 15 team. That's not
I
a
didn't pick
sleeper
it.
team.
They're actually at
They,
the time
they
were
went to
like,
the Final Four last year, and they brought back the same exact squad.
Yeah, and how many people were talking about them?
Enough to be top
They're
15.
4 seed.
I mean,
All right,
who was talking about them?
11, Jerry. They people because they ranked him at 15.
Tough one.
You will
I'm
give
gonna
me
say Arkansas. I was
Okay.
thinking Arkansas or Michigan, but Arkansas has probably got one of the best point guards in the tournament left. JD Note, he can get you a bucket. But the only way they beat Gonzaga is he has 45.
Yeah, and Arkansas is the best big man in the nation who, of course, handled Oscar Tshiebwe whenever they played, and Jalen Williams. That man knows how to play basketball.
That man can take a charge. I'm pretty sure he led the NCAA with like 60 charges.
Yeah, he's
taken.
insane. So you picked Arkansas, so I'm gonna pick Michigan, of course. Michigan, well, honestly, the best team in the basketball right now, if you ask me, because Michigan probably the best team I've seen. I honestly think that Michigan should have been a 1 seed, honestly. So I don't even know why Tennessee played them in the second round. It doesn't make any sense. So at the end of the day, I mean, Michigan handled probably the second best team in the nation, Tennessee. So that makes them the first. Michigan at 12.
At 13, I have the Friars of Providence. I think Providence is another really well-coached team. You know, they got a tough matchup going against Kansas, but I mean, they can't really complain because so far they played South Dakota State and Richmond to get to the Sweet 16. So shout out to them for getting the easiest road to the Sweet 16. But I think their run comes to an end. They've been a well-respected team throughout the season. They're 27-5. I mean, they're going against a team that's probably just straight up better than them. And I think Kansas will lead with Baji over Providence. But I got Providence.
Okay.
So.
Jerry?
The Miami Hurricanes.
Okay. This is 14. Pick number 14, Miami.
I think you can make a debate over Providence. Just Providence has a better record. Based on teams they played, you could maybe put Miami over. But Miami's got a really, really good backcourt duo in Wong and Moore. When I watched them against USC and Auburn, I mean, they can get you a bucket whenever you need one. I think Juan put up 20 in both games. Moore had a triple-double against Auburn. The only thing I think that is holding him back from a Final Four appearance is Kansas.
Yep. I mean, Miami, they've looked really good. They've definitely been playing better than what are they at 10?
Yep.
Playing a lot
mean,
better
Yeah,
than
Miami
10.
is a 10.
They're playing like a 5 seed right now. How good they're
And
playing.
Yeah,
they beat a good. People are overlooking. I mean, they've had a tough road. They beat a good USC team in the
Very
opening
good
round, and
USC team.
Yeah, and
Yep.
I mean, like we said, they're Auburn. They are frauds. I don't think they should be as good as a 2 seed, but I do think that they got Jabari Smith. They got some guys on there that are very good. And Miami beat a good team for 2 rounds.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Auburn has 2 first-round draft picks, and they handled them pretty easily. Just so they won't be last. I'm going 15 seed St. Peter's, like Cinderella. I don't want them to be 16 because they don't deserve it. They beat a great Kentucky team and they beat a good Murray State team, and they deserve to not be last. They've been disrespected. They have what we've seen so far, the best coaching in the tournament, in my opinion. Good players that aren't scared of the show. You think of 15, they're playing a high school gym. They don't even know what it's like to play in an arena half the time. And look at them now. They're in the Sweet 16. I'm
Just
so
a
proud
bunch
of
of
them.
Jersey boys.
All right, let's
Yeah,
give it up
bunch
to St. Peter's.
Bunch of Jersey boys, bunch of New York guys.
Jersey.
I'm proud of them.
Hey, shout out St. Peter's.
All right. And Iowa State, of course, is last.
No, I think it's
Iowa
Texas.
State. They are favored on. They're favored on ESPN, but they're not favored against the spread. Miami is a 2.5 point favorite over them.
All right.
But
so as we wind
I think
down,
that'll be a good game.
as we wind down the podcast, what I want to do to end is just us give. All right, hold up. I'll give our list first. Very good list. Duke 1, Gonzaga 2, Arizona 3, Purdue 4, Texas Tech 5, Nova 6, Houston 7, Kansas 8, North Carolina 9, UCLA 10, Arkansas 11, Michigan 12, Providence 13, Miami 14, St. Peter's 15, Iowa State 16. Great list. Somehow we know what we're talking about. To end the podcast, I wanted us to each give who we think is going to win each Sweet 16 game, and we can end on a happy note. And then we can compare next week.
Let's all start with Gonzaga, Arkansas. I think
right.
we can all agree
Gonzaga.
Gonzaga's going to win.
Yep, Zags.
Texas Tech, Duke.
Texas Tech, Duke. I think Duke's going to win, but I'm going to pick Texas Tech, and we can look back on this and we'll think.
I am picking the
genius.
Red Raiders.
No, you are. You just said I think Duke's going to win, but I'm going to go with Texas Tech.
He wants
So
to
you're
be
basically-
on the upset. I'm not willing to be like, I think
But
Duke's
you're
going to win.
You're
but I'm
just
gonna
saying
pick
so you're
Texas
not going to
Tech.
be wrong.
I think Texas Tech is going to win. I thought Texas Tech was going to win from the start. I picked Texas Tech to be in my Final Four. Texas Tech is
Yeah.
going to handle Coach K and his hairy nuts in the Sweet 16.
All right,
I want
fine,
Texas
Duke.
Tech to win.
Drew
I just
speaking
want
to
Texas Tech to win because I don't want to root for Duke.
North Carolina,
I don't want to root
UCLA.
for Duke either. I just think they're a better team.
Honestly,
North
Drew's not even a real
Carolina,
Kentucky fan.
He's rooting for Duke.
UCLA, North
I'm
Carolina.
not rooting for Duke.
UCLA, North Carolina. UCLA.
This is one of the toughest matchups to pick, I think.
To me, it's easy.
What? I
North
think UCLA's
Carolina.
I think
It's going to be the
Experience
Bruins,
is gonna
and they're
win.
going to go back to the Final Four.
I think the Bruins win.
UNC is hot as piss, as I like to say. So
Well, the Bruins play really good D.
Purdue,
They
St.
love
Peters.
Purdue.
Purdue. It's going to
I
be
think.
Gonzaga,
You know what?
Duke,
I'm just
UCLA.
Shut up.
I'm just
No.
playing. It's been a
Shut up,
great
man.
run for St. Peter's. I think we should all admire it, but I think it comes
Yes.
to an end. I think I
Moment
want
of
St.
silence.
Peters to win. I 100% with my whole heart want St. Peters to win, but Purdue is going to win that game. Arizona,
Moment of
Houston.
silence.
Arizona, Houston is going to be an outstanding matchup. Houston's probably got one of the best defensive teams in the country, and Arizona's got some of the best offensive players I've seen in a while. So, my heart wants to say Houston, so I'm going Houston.
I'm going Houston too. It's where my mom's family's at.
Going
H-Town.
Arizona.
Yep. I mean,
I think they have one of the best 1-2
gonna be
punches
good.
in college basketball. but I do think it'll be a really good game, and it'll be two well coached teams.
Yeah.
Speaking of 1-2 punches, Michigan State Villanova. Man, I am so good at my job.
I think Nova is just too good fundamentally. I think it's going to throw Juwan Howard a little off that he's going to have to punch Jay Wright.
Yeah, I think Nova wins. I think Juwan Howard outcoached Rick Barnes. I don't think anyone's outcoaching Juwan.
I
Jay
think
Wright.
I think
Juwan Howard.
Juwan. I think Juwan's going to show him some fundamentals in punching.
Keep the elbow
I got
in.
Nova. I got Nova.
Yeah, I
got Nova as well. Kansas Providence.
Kansas by
Kansas.
20. I think
Kansas
they
as well.
destroy
Providence. Speaking of frauds, more frauds. Providence. Iowa
Yeah.
State, Miami. Final game.
I-
And honestly,
Miami.
the worst.
Miami.
I think Iowa State's defense is going to be really good. It's going to be low scoring, but Miami's got one of the best backcourts in this tournament. Miami.
I think Miami wins as well. And with that, we conclude the third episode of the Out of Shape podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being patient and for being loyal viewers, loyal listeners. Listen to the sound of my voice as I close out this. Jerry, give us an outro. Jerry, please give us an outro. Drew, did you hear any of that? His mic just cut out for me.
Yeah, his mic broke.
You're so loud, your mic cut out.
Outro is Texas Tech is beating Duke and Houston is beating Arizona. Boom.
Drew?
My outro is UCLA is going to win the title.
My outro is I want to get in the ring with Juwan Howard. Thank you for listening. Goodbye.